What up, what up, what up? Real Fans Podcast, back at it again. I'm your boy, Gabe. That's my co-host right there, Julian, fixing the camera. Julian, say what's up to the people.
What's up, people?
I see we're both wearing cat gear.
Dude, we have to. And this retro cat gear, not that new logo.
Oh, yeah, man.
New logo.
Bro, the cat is so beautiful. That's why I got this. I actually ordered this online like a couple weeks ago because I was like, right now, we're going to talk about the playoffs. But I was like, there's a chance that it would come to Dallas. And if the Panthers come to Dallas, I'm like, I'm going to a game. I got to go to a game. So, yeah.
What's the drive?
Dallas is like 3.5 hours from Austin. So,
that's doable.
Yeah, it's doable. I can do that in a day. 3.5 hours. That's like going from Miami to Orlando or something. So,
yeah, and just getting like a super cheap, just single night and then drive back first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Unless you want to drive at like 12 at night, 3.5 hours.
Whatever I have to do it. Hopefully Dallas will play well, but we'll talk about it. Let's get into it because right now we're in the middle of, like I said, middle of playoffs, NHL playoffs, but let's talk about NBA because we had a big game last night that I watched. Yep. I was in the middle of switching between the hockey match and the Pacers-Celtics game. So let's talk about the Pacers and Celtics, and then we can get into the playoffs overall. Last night, the Celtics come back after being down. The Celtics come back. I forget the deficit, but they come back 114-111. Pretty close at the end, but not really. Halliburton is out. But let's talk about the game last night with the Celtics going up 3-0 in the series. What are your thoughts and takeaways from the series and the game overall?
As for the series, I thought Boston pretty much has handled the first two games. This third game, it felt like Indiana going back home really helped them. They started to almost seemed like even though Halliburton was out and he's like their guy and he's been the guy this playoffs, it almost seemed like they started to play better without him. And I don't know, with the home crowd and everything just being there helped a lot. But man, Boston, that third game that happened last night, they were like that, like you go outside on your porch on like a hot summer night and you got those moths or like those mosquitoes. And they're just like, they're fucking with you.
Yeah.
They won't go away. They won't go away. And you're like, all right, let me put some bug spray on. Let me get the zapper. All right, they're gone for a little bit. But then like 15 minutes later, it's like, fuck, dude, they're back again. And then you know what? Like, fuck it. You give up and then you go back inside. You try to have a nice night, but it didn't work out. And that's what happened in Indiana. You try to go back home, get the win. But Boston, they kept on fighting back. They kept on playing. And the way that they were playing team ball that game to really just to stay in it, like even though the Pacers started to kind of make some space and separate, and I will say this, the Pacers had a good game, like as a collective. Like they played really well that game. I thought they were going to end up winning that game because the way they were leading in the second and in the third quarter. But then in the fourth, that's when you start to see Boston slowly creep. And then they eventually get there. And I just want to shout out Al Horford hitting 7 threes last night. Dude's 37 years old and still playing at the top level basketball for like one of the best teams in the league. And
I learned how to shoot a three, man. He reinvented his career. He got his 2.0 in his career, man, shooting a three.
But yeah, man, I hate to give Boston credit because I hate Boston and all their teams and their fan bases. They're fucking annoying. I can't stand them. But, I got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, dude, Jaylen Brown dropping 40 points game 2 absolutely took over the game. And, I'm seeing all the Jason Tatum slander. And I'm like, why? Dude, you don't need to be dropping 40, 50 points every game. I think we're now ushering into a new era of the NBA where it's like you need your starting 5 hitting above 20 points. You need to work as a collective. You need that. That's just kind of the new era. I think Denver has shown that. Even Boston has shown that, except they haven't been able to win it. And look, you just need to step up in the right moments. And I don't think he's even played that poorly, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think of these past 3 games?
Well, I thought I've seen some fight with the Indiana Pacers. If you want to talk about teams going in heading into this matchup, I mean, obviously Celtics being the heavy favorite coming into the playoffs, into the series, and the Pacers coming kind of out of nowhere with a big win over the Bucks. obviously the Pacers are underdogs, and at times there's flashes of like at times like, oh, are they going to compete? And I want a tough road for Boston. I feel like this series, Boston has had it pretty easy. I mean, they beat the Heat. They let the Heat get one game. They should have swept the Heat.
Oh, Boston path is insane.
They had one game and they let the Heat. They're like, oh, we're gonna keep guys open, and let you guys shoot threes. And series goes 4-1. It should have been 4-0. Then they play the Cavs. Kind of the toothless Cavs, as good as the Cavs seasons as they had. Kind of so heading to this matchup, people think it's going to be the Knicks. The Knicks choke against the Pacers. If talking about teams overachieving, I feel like the Pacers are that team right now in the Eastern Conference. Like they've beat maybe a team that people didn't suspect, people didn't think about them. I think they're a pretty good team. They have been able to compete, and I see flashes like the first half, like they score almost 70 points, and I'm like, oh wait, are the Pacers going to do something? Are they going to hold this lead? Are the Celtics? Is this the beginning of a Celtics choke job? But they come out that second half, they only score 21 points the third quarter, 21 points the fourth quarter, and it's kind of like, oh well, kind of like you. I want it to be tougher for the Celtics, but the Celtics are the team that they have been all year, where they just pound people on the head, and it gets close where it gets tough to get some foul calls. They had a weird inbound play. Did you see the ending weird inbound play? I saw on Twitter somebody was like, "Oh, this is like a NFL matchup that the Pacers ran." Trying to shoot that last. They're like, this is mesh. They have two receivers on the left, one on the right. Two doing a crossing route underneath, and one guy's going across. Yeah. So that was kind of funny.
Man, you know what? I actually like that idea more so than the traditional, just like everybody kind of like arcing and looping around it. Because how much has that worked? Like, what is the percentage of that working? I think you have to really start inventing and coming up with new ways to really open up the court. And honestly, it kind of did work. I mean, it opened up some space for her to make a shot.
Yeah.
I think
the shot didn't go in. I think it bounced off the rim.
Yeah, it didn't go in. It hit off the rim. Yeah. It created space, it created movement, it created space, it created confusion. If that would have worked, we might be seeing like a new scheme being put together. And maybe people have like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Let's see how we can probably make it better.
I actually kind of hate it because one thing you don't want to do when you have the ball and you need to score is throw it in the backcourt when you have 10 seconds left on the clock. Like you don't want to throw it closer to the opponent's basket compared to yours.
Well, yeah.
So I like the idea. Yeah, I like the idea of running it. Maybe two guys if you're gonna run it. I don't like setting all five. All the other four guys with the inbounder, setting them on the backcourt. Like to me, I feel like it's gonna cause too many problems.
Like the 3-point line.
Listen, if y'all can run it, if you got some wide receivers out there, you got a Moore out there. You got I don't know. I'm trying to name wide receivers. I don't know. You got some Tyreek Hills. Yeah, you got some Jimmy Graham, some Tyreek Hills out there. Sure, go ahead and run it. It seems risky for my blood. Risky for my blood.
You do like a wide receiver, like one-on-one jump ball thing. You get your biggest guy with the most speed. He starts flying down the court. You just throw him an alley-oop, and if he wins it, he wins it. Yeah. Hey, that's not a bad idea.
And I've seen it. I've seen a play. Especially, I remember comes to mind is me, LeBron going left-handed. I forget who they're playing against, but I remember him going left-handed. But him coming like that, a big body where they did some switches. They didn't go backcourt, but they did some switches. Kind of on their side, and LeBron was able to go and I think he switched hands to his left hand and was able to lay it up. I forget the series, but it'll come to mind. I'll look up the highlights on YouTube. So risky, the basket didn't go in. It worked out fine, but hopefully, like I said, you don't want to be in late game situations. It is kind of innovative because it's something I've never seen. Usually the game was that close where they had to run, a couple. They had to. I think they had to go like clear path foul was also called. They had to review that. So when it gets down to the wire like that, it is kind of cool to see coaches like actually coaching and being innovative. Like, hey, this is a play we run.
Coaches actually.
Hey, it's like I've never seen it. Like usually, if you lose,
actually scheming.
Yeah, it's better than fucking losing with you have 10 seconds left and you're down 20 points. Like it's like pretty much the game's over.
I don't hate it. Honestly surprised it's not come up with sooner because yeah, I mean if you can beat your guy because I think what makes it work or what could potentially make it work obviously is that you're removing a lot of those players that are between you and the basket. You're now opening up like if you can get a guy with the speed to break the line, just like you see, I don't know, in hockey or football or soccer, or whatever.
Yeah.
If he can break that and you get the pass off to him, he's got an open shot, hopefully. So or a dunk or layup or whatever it might be.
And so
it's
yeah. Well, the reason I don't like it is because, like I said, throwing it back court, but also the defense is like.
Well, I don't think they threw it back court, did they?
They had all.
I thought they threw it at the 3-point.
They had all three guys starting back court, like way back.
Yeah, they started in back court, but I don't think they threw it in back court.
No, I don't think they threw it back court. No, because they were able to get that shot off on the bottom half of the screen. But I hope defense will plan for it more now that you've seen it. Like now you know they run this stuff. Like they would have a guy, if you're gonna do football plays, have a safety out there floating because they only need 1 point. So if they want to shoot it, 40 feet from the logo, go ahead. Like if you want to win the game that way on one shot, go ahead. But I don't want to give up any easy stuff or give up fouls, right? Because you have clear path to the basket kind of fouls. You don't want to be giving up easy baskets where they shoot. They get a and one.
Hey man, but what? All right, yeah, you got the safety back there, but what if you have your guy running down the right side, throw it to him, then you got your guy on the left side who beat him, and instead of take it, like depending how much time you have, say you got 3 seconds, you go to him, you pull the safety, aka the center, sling it back over now to the guy who beat his man on the left, wide open layup, dude.
I don't know. They're pressing up.
Hey, look, man, there's schemes to this. There's levels, bro. There's levels. You can make it work. It's gonna get deep. You're gonna start seeing guys from the opposite side, and they're gonna start doing that, and it's gonna start slinging.
Hey man, Joker might do that. Joker's excellent for those kind of deep passes down court. Yeah. But overall, I feel like this series, the Pacers, even with Halliburton out, I feel like the Pacers not gonna be able to win a game without him. Like yes, they kept it close, and they eventually lost. I think having your best player out at this point in the playoffs is detrimental. Like I said, they showed flashes. It looked like it was going to be close, but I honestly think this is going to be a sweep. This is probably as close as they're going to get to beating the Celtics. Probably their best chance. And like I said, we don't know. I got to look up. We'll look up the injury. I don't know what the injury report is. It's probably day to day, but without your best player, I don't see any way the Pacers win a game at all.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to say his name wrong, but Nembhard. Yeah, however you say his name. He played really well. Maybe he could. Dude dropped 32 points, so I don't know how much more you can ask from him. And then you also had Miles Turner and Pascal drop 22. You need a little bit more help because I'm also looking at the box where Ben Shepherd dropped 0 points. Like 25 minutes, got no points. Like, come on. Like, so. I agree with you. I think it's going to end up being a sweep. Is it possible Indiana can get one in Game 4? Yeah, I think they can. I think they showed even without Halliburton, they looked well at home. They lacked defensively when it mattered the most. They couldn't stop them from scoring. And
20, and they had a combined 42 points in the last half after scoring almost 70 in the first. Like that's that's
yeah, exactly.
They have to sustain effort, and the Celtics were obviously able to come back with that. And you're not gonna win. It seems like the Celtics can sustain a kind of a deficit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the Celtics have been here and done that before. I mean, every single year they're in the Eastern Conference Final. I mean, how many years in a row has it been now? Like, they understand what it takes to win this series. Now it's like, do they have what it takes to win the next series after this is one thing. But, they've definitely had the easiest path imaginable. Like you said, taking on a weak Heat team, then taking on a Celtics team who
the Cavs,
wasn't really – Cavs team, I bet, that wasn't really that great. And now getting an Indiana team who – let's be real, upset the Knicks. A lot of people didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then potentially a matchup in the finals that isn't terribly scary. So, and let's switch over to that. Dallas, Minnesota. I'll kick it to you first. on this series. And the last game, obviously, I believe there's a game tonight.
Yeah, there's a game
If
tonight.
I'm not wrong.
Game 3.
For game 3, going to Dallas.
Yeah, overall, I would say, I was kind of, I think you said it when last time we talked that how the Wolves were a team built to beat the Nuggets, and I've been overall surprised, shocked. I think I saw some stat that said that this is the first playoffs without the last 4 champions, whatever, without without the Warriors, without the Nuggets, without the reigning champion. I think this is the first where we're gonna get a new
Winner.
contender. Yeah, new winner.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it.
Yeah, so I have to eat crow. I thought they had a good team. I thought I just thought that the Nuggets would be overwhelming. But this Nugget Timberwolves team has been a fun team. I think it's been great moments. I think you have a lot of shit talk. You have great shit talker in Anthony Edwards, a great shit talker in Luka. And the series has been fun. Obviously, Dallas is being up 2-0, heading into Game 3. It's been a fun matchup. I think Dallas has gone beyond my expectations. Like I think that the Timberwolves are, in my opinion, would be a deeper team. But I mean, it seems like it doesn't matter. It seems like the best players win. And for me, maybe I have some friends who are obviously being in Texas who are Dallas Maverick fans, and they're saying that this is the year. So. Interesting series so far. I don't know. What are your takeaways from the matchups that you've seen? What do you like from this series?
I just want to say, you called me crazy
Yeah, I did.
for having Dallas over OKC. And I was like, look, man, Dallas, this is it, man. They have the pedigree. They have the experience. I thought OKC was too new. They weren't ready. They weren't ready for the heat that was about to come. And look, Dallas came in and pretty much, I mean, they dominated that series. So now we're getting into this one. So I'm kind of with you too. I had Denver coming back and winning that Minnesota series. I was kind of surprised that Minnesota won, even with the cooled down Anthony Edwards. And look, they still did. Like you said, they're very deep. Their starting 5 is, I mean, it's amazing. Like Karl Towns, Rudy Gobert, it's a really good team. But with the Dallas team in this matchup, what we saw was you see a Kyrie, you see a Luka that are just consistently just raining it down, just letting it rip and just consistently winning. And then shout out to Gafford. Dude was an absolute monster in the paint this past game. 5 blocks, taking on fouls. Like watching game 2, it was really cool to see. Like I felt like I haven't seen this type of ball in a while. It's just so much of it was just taking the ball into the paint and who can win these battles. It was a pretty physical game. I mean, there wasn't a lot of like shooting from deep. Obviously, you had those shots, but from what I got from a lot of those plays was just getting the ball inside and winning the inside for both teams, honestly, because Rudy Gobert had a great game too. And just seeing that battle in the paint was really fun to watch. I liked it a lot. But with that being said, I think Dallas, until you can get an Anthony Edwards to really step up and play like he played in that first round, especially, I have a hard time picking them because now Dallas is now taking 2 games on the road from you and now going home to Dallas. Dude, they're amped up. They're riding high. And when you have that sort of confidence, I have a hard time seeing Minnesota dig themselves out of this hole. I mean, you're going to have to win 3 games on the road. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah. Tough series. I mean, I think out of the 2 games, East versus West, I think this is the more competitive one. More easy on the West, like I said, repeating, like Celtics have had an easier road. And these are 2 teams like I didn't expect. And I think this is probably the more better series, and I think whoever comes out of this series is probably going to win the whole damn thing, honestly. Maybe, possibly. So, I mean, we'll see. They play tonight. I think, like you said, what I want to see is Anthony Edwards actually face adversity. Everybody's been talking about him for the past couple of years, and how this is like his star turn. He's only what 22. This is like he's stepping in. Like I think it's bubbling for him to step up in big moments. I would like to see him. I said Anthony Edwards reminds me of like a lot of Dwayne Wade, but a lot different though. Dwayne Wade wasn't as a more quiet, reserved person. He seems like a very loud, very arrogant. So I would like to see him, clean it up. But as far as his play, I think his play is excellent. I think he's been making, him jabbering, him going at players has been fun to see. He's been a fun part of the playoffs so far. So I mean, we'll see Game 3.
Yeah, and he hasn't really played bad either. It's just you're expecting more. I think with all the hype and the hoopla and the way he played in that first part of the playoffs, to see him kind of cool down, and especially like you said in a big moment. But like you said, this Minnesota team, I mean, and especially him, it's all very young. They're all very new to the. I mean, but like you said, I mean, this is the first time we're getting conference finals on both sides. With us, we haven't had a champion in I don't know however long it's been, so everybody's pretty new to this. But you have guys like Kyrie who knows what it takes to win it all, and that guy, and he's showing up too. Like the guy that we criticized for years. I mean, I questioned this move to Dallas. I didn't think it was really going to help Dallas the way that it was going to. I thought it was kind of like, I don't want to say a Hail Mary, but almost like we need something. We need someone else to.
Where was he going to go? I mean, because you've been, we've been waiting on Kyrie. When he went to Boston, he was supposed to take over in Boston. He was supposed to be the leader of that team. You see him in Brooklyn.
He's not a leader, man.
Yeah.
He's not. He needs to be a guy who's just there to be a role player and be a really good role player. I just don't think he has what it takes to be the guy, and he needs a guy like Luka. And the problem with the Boston situation, you had too many personalities on there. Like you had a KD who was always very quiet and reserved and never really. You don't peg him as like a leader and a guy who like rallies the guys. James Harden's definitely not that. And then you have a Kyrie who's just kind of like in his own world. He needs to, like, looking back at that Boston thing, you should like, I'm like, wow, like no wonder that team didn't work. Like no wonder. But then you see him come to this Dallas team who has a certain identity, who has a ownership that understands what they want and has built a culture for a franchise to win championships. And it's working. It's working. Now, whether or not either one of these teams get out and win the whole thing, I don't know. I'm still leaning as Celtics as my favorite to win it all. They just seem like they have everything going for them right now. Everybody's playing super hot.
Man, have they been tested? Have they been battle tested, man?
The Celtics? Yeah. They're fucking like in the Eastern Conference Finals or the finals. They played in the finals last year.
So they're still battle tested from last year. You're saying that carries over to this year?
Well, what I'm saying, I mean, it's the same squad.
They haven't seen adversity, bro. They haven't seen adversity, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Not in this year. Not this season.
Not this playoff.
Not this playoff. But like, are you going to completely remove all the experience that they had over the past couple years?
I think
you can't take that away. They still made it. They still lost. They understand what it feels to lose in moments like
they're
that.
At the point of like this guy, this duo, and leading up to this, they resign and whatever. It's like, okay, we keep talking about you guys. Everybody keeps talking about Jason Tatum, top 10 player, Jason Tatum, top 5 player. It's like, this guy walking around wearing Kobe shirts. It's like, okay, when are you actually going to do it? Like when, usually winners are always around winning. It's like, when are you going to win something or go deep or make a run? When are you going to have a signature moment? Like we keep talking about you being great, but where are the great moments?
Boston fans for that. I blame the Boston fans for that.
I don't know. It's like, the hype has to, has to be materialized at some point. Like if we're going to talk about you being great, at some point, the greats do great things, right? This is going to be like a rings conversation. Like usually, if you're a winner, you're usually around winning. You know, because if you're not around winning, we call you know you're a fucking loser, right? You mean that's what everybody makes fun of Charles Barkley for being, right? As great as you know, Charles Barkley is a Hall of Fame player.
Damn.
And they say how many rings you got.
A fucking loser.
I mean, that's what Shaq fucking gets on him for. You know, everybody gets on him for is like how many rings you got. So you know, usually if you're gonna be a great players are around winning, and like what winning has he done? So like at this point in the Celtics season, it's like, okay, you guys have been assembled.
Hey man,
you know
it took Jordan 6 years to win his first chip.
Jordan, he got his ass whooped by Detroit a couple years. You know, he wasn't as much as they talk about Jordan. And oh man, again, this is a little tangent, hot take. As much as they talk about Jordan, you would think that Jordan shot like 90% from the field or something. You would think that this guy shot 70% from three. He shot 99.9 from free throw line. Like this guy, like.
Not even just Jordan. How long did it take for LeBron to get his first championship? 7 years?
He had to leave.
Took him what, 7 years? What was his first championship?
7 or 8 years.
2010? Yeah.
And he would count him in like, 3. Yeah.
And I think we've gotten to this era where it's so instant gratification. I'm like, dude, when we look at some of the greats, it took them a long time to get to. I'm not saying Jason Tatum is that. I don't think he is that. I don't think he has that capability, but I think to fault someone because they haven't won yet is kind of like, if we look at history and some of the best players, it's taken a long time to.
He's perfect. I'm not gonna put Jason Tatum in the same class as LeBron James.
Yeah,
but that I'm glad you brought out that name. It's like we've hyped him up so much for so long. We've seen him since he was 14 years old, or ever, I'm exaggerating. That's not the truth. But you know what I'm saying? Like we've been following this kid since he was in high school all the way. It's like, and you go 7 years and it's like, okay, well, what is all this hype up? What are we talking about? That's going to be in line for Wembanyama. That's going to be in line for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's going to be in line for Ja Morant. At some point, if we're going to talk about you being great, you're going to be a top 10 player, and you're going to have to sustain. At some point, you're going to have some achievements to warrant that we talk about you in a certain way, right? Because
Well, what about Luka?
Luka's.
Luka. The one thing with Luka has a little bit more of an excuse because that Dallas team was terrible.
Yeah, he was
outside of him for a long time. Yeah,
we talked about how if he, whenever Luka goes, so do the Dallas Mavericks, and with him joining Kyrie Irving, it's been a great pairing so far. So, we're gonna talk about Luka. He's making a deep run now. Like maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. But that hype is being realized at some point. So going back to the Celtics, like I feel like that is the point we're at the Celtics. It's like you've been around for this long. What have you done? What is this duo doing? Like you sign all these guys, these long-term deals. You bring back certain players. You add, you add players. I'm trying to think of the players' name I can't think of. It's like at some point you got to do something. At some point you got to do something, right? To me, it's like for football equivalent for the Dolphins. It's like Ryan Tannehill. It's like he's a great player, great athlete. What has he done? Are we improving, or are we just doing lateral? Is this a lateral move? Is this like just kind of we hit the plateau?
Do you not feel that the Celtics have improved?
They have improved in the past compared to
this year. Is like this is their best team yet?
Oh yeah. As far as a season, yes. This year it was a great season they had. But guess what? We don't play for the regular season. Like, if we play for
as a team, not just like the record, like as a team, like going into the season, like with the way that they're playing, is this the best Celtics team you've seen in like the current generation?
I'm not gonna say the best. I would have to go look at the statistics. I would just say as the current squad as it's been assembled, yes, they've improved. Yes.
Over the past 3 years, let's say.
Let's say 3-4 years. Yes, they've improved. Top of the division, top 3 every year, perennial playoff. Yes, the Celtics have improved. But at some point, if you're perennial, and you don't win, right? It's like the Braves in baseball. It's like every year they get into the playoffs, and every year they don't get a championship, right? It's like so every year the Celtics are good.
Being a Braves fan out there, man, it's got to be rough for you guys.
I mean, lately they've been
there
good
with the Bills.
Yeah,
but they never win. All right, they won a World
Series. Okay,
they won the World Series recently, but like if you look at their World Series records, man, or like not even just the World Series records, but just like those seasons where they're like clearly the favorites and then they get bounced. Man, that's a team that's a regular season Warriors, bro. They are constantly like playing so well, going in deep runs, but always lose except for the one time, 2001. But anyways, back to this. So let me say this. It seems like by the time we have our next show, we're probably already going to know the winner, my guess. I mean, obviously game 3's tonight for Minnesota Dallas, but I'm kind of leaning towards the idea that this series is probably going to be over by the time we get there. So I guess real quick, I have Dallas, we'll say in 5. I think Minnesota could sneak one.
You coward. Say it in 4. You know you want to say in 4.
And 4?
That's what you want to say.
I don't know. I mean, these games are close. I mean, look, Luka dropped a 3-pointer with like 3 seconds left to win that game. It's not like they're blowing them out.
Yeah.
Now, Boston, I think that's a sweep. 100%.
Okay.
Especially missing your best player. That's a sweep. I'm with that. I'm a little reserved with Dallas because those games have been extremely close and they've been very physical. And who's going to win that inside the paint battle? But I still have Dallas in 5. Do you want to say Dallas sweep at home?
I want to say this is a deeper series. I want to say 6 or 7, man. I'm hoping
Really?
that it's out. I'm hoping that this is a deeper series because I think this finals is going to be a blowout. I think whoever comes out of the West has been battle tested. They've had longer runs. I'm hoping this is a long series. So this is a must win. Going into this game, I think the Timberwolves, this is a must win game. Obviously, I mean, every game is a must win. You must win all of them.
I still think it's crazy
But
that you say
that pressure
Boston
is
is
tight.
not battle tested.
No.
Even though yes, they had
Not in
it.
this playoffs.
Even though yes, they had
Not in
it.
this
Yeah, but
playoffs.
you have to look at the squad and what they've been through the past 3-4 years. These guys are battle tested. Like they've gone through deep runs in the playoffs consistently every single year. When has the Mavs or Minnesota have done that? Yes, Minnesota beat a reigning champion Nuggets team, so I give them credit with that. But like Dallas beat a Clippers team that consistently underperforms, and then an OKC team that was there for the first time.
A young team.
Honestly, yeah.
A fuller team. I think, OKC is going to be one of these teams that are going to be around for a little bit.
Yeah. Even though I don't believe Oklahoma should have a basketball team, but yes.
Yeah. I just think the path is a little bit harder on the West. I'll just say that. I'll just leave it at that. All right. So you said
agree.
in 5.
I agree.
So
if
you
you're
said-
talking about just a pattern.
So you think Mavs in 5?
I got Mavs in 5. I think they're not dropping 2 at home.
Give me Mavs in 6. I'll give Mavs in 6. I think it's going to be a close series. I think they're going to win a couple games. I don't see a sweep or gentleman sweep.
So you think Minnesota snags one and then they go back home and win one?
Minnesota snags a couple. I think it's going to be a closer series, and I hope it goes 7.
I'm saying you have Minnesota taking one on the road and then winning one at home, and
Must
then
win.
Dallas coming back.
Must
home.
win for the Timberwolves.
Oh yeah, I mean these games. All
games are must win. Yeah.
But I think for morale, this game 3 is like huge. Like you have to.
Yeah.
Like coming back 3-0 is going to be impossible.
The odds are
Let's just
against you.
call it it's going to be impossible. All right. So with that being said, we both have the same teams going out. So Dallas, Boston. Who do you like there?
My hate for Boston runs too deep. I'll go with any team out the West. So whatever teams come out the West is going to win.
Yeah, I love Luka. I'm rooting for him. I want to see him win. I'm gonna be rooting for Dallas. We can hold off on the actual.
Let's wait till the
prediction,
results.
But we'll say who we're shooting for.
Yeah. Not Boston. Gabe is shooting for not Boston. I hate.
I kind of want Dallas to win it all, so I'm in there. But yeah, you want to talk about a little NHL playoffs?
Absolutely, because there was a game also last
Absolutely.
night. The Edmonton Oilers playing the Dallas Stars. I've been hyped. I told Julian I ordering it offline just on the off chance that I think we said it earlier that the game goes to Dallas. I'll travel.
Who's on the back?
No, it's just It's a blank. It's blank. It's blank.
Blank.
But maybe I'll get my name on there or something. Maybe I'll put Champ up there if we get it.
Is that replica?
No, I guess so. I guess so. I don't know. It's CCM. I don't know. It's official like CCM. I don't know if that's important. You know, you gotta get replica. I saw there's some replicas out there like starter. They have like a starter jersey, but it's like starter never made a jersey for them, so the official jersey. So you gotta get the right one. Whatever. This was.
Yeah. Well, now it's like Adidas, you know. So.
Yeah. But yeah, the Edmonton Oilers. I've been watching the scout because I don't get a chance to watch a lot of West Coast stuff. So Edmonton Oilers versus Dallas. I'm trying to scout. I'm trying to scout for my Panthers out here. Just watching the games. I don't know how much of the series you have so far that you've seen, Julian. But Dallas is kind of like this team. They're kind of like the Boston Celtics if you think about it. They've had a tremendous season. Favorite the entire year. It's been a little shaky for them, a little tight sometimes. Sometimes these games come end of the wire, but they tied the series. The series is tied. 1-1. They played last night, so I don't know what overall. Before we get into the Panthers, I guess have you seen any of the Dallas Edmonton Oilers series at all?
No, I've been kind of following Dallas a little bit because, I mean, it was really shaky for them. You didn't think, I thought for a second, I'm like, man, are they really about to lose to Vegas? And like you said, they pretty much dominated the West, for the most part. The East is a little bit more top heavy and where kind of the battlers are. I've still been on this boat where either the Rangers, Carolina, or Florida are going to win it. It's one of those three. I thought the West, you had Avalanche, which Dallas, beating Avalanche in 6 is super impressive. And that kind of reinvigorated my hype around Dallas. Like, okay, we'll see what they can do. I haven't seen much of this series because I've been going on basketball, but I'm going to let you talk more so about this series here.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm not going to know a lot about Edmonton. Like I said, I haven't really watched any.
I mean, Edmonton, look, they got the best player in the league right now, or just in general over the past couple of years, Connor McDavid.
Yeah, Connor McDavid,
an absolute monster.
Yeah. He's been top of the series. I can talk about the game last night because I was just going between that and the basketball game. I thought it was overall, the score ended 3-1, which is pretty typical. I think, Dallas went up with like 6 or 7 minutes left, and so they have the situation where they're going to pull the goalie, and they eventually Dallas scored another empty netter. I think it was like 4 minutes left or something.
That's really early. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I guess they're down. They're down.
As soon as as soon as Edmonton went down, 2-1 with like 7 minutes left, I'm like, at some point they're gonna pull the goalie. It's like, how soon do you actually do it, and what is your strategy?
That's super early for like 5 minutes. It's crazy.
And I was mad. One of the defenders, I don't know, it was like a big Grande por Gusto guy. This guy, big, going back on defense. He was going back, but he was kind of standing there lazy. It's like he didn't look like he was trying to get in front of the goal or anything. So this empty netter just kind of went past him. He just kind of kept looking. And I'm like, bro, this guy, whoever that guy is, get that guy off the ice.
You're fired.
I got to look up the name. It was like a McDonough, something like that. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I think the series overall, the first 2 games that I've watched have been fun. It seems like if Dallas goes down early, they have a tough. That first goal that they score, especially if they score quick within the first, 5 minutes of the period. It's pretty tough to come back. But Ottinger, their goalie is pretty good. It's tough for me to assess hockey because I've seen. I was actually watching some of the. Canadian coverage, the Edmonton, I guess, feed.
Yeah.
So they're
big Canadian hockey guy, right?
Yeah.
That's you.
I forget the station, BTS or BBS.
How are you watching that?
Huh? Listen, man. Don't ask me those kind of questions. Man. Just know I can pull up
accents?
Any sport from anywhere in the world. I can watch anything from anywhere in the world. So yeah, I'll
plug.
It's hard for me to assess like, this guy's out of position or whatever. But the teams seem fairly evenly matched as far as the play. Like I didn't go away thinking like, oh, this team is overmatched or anything. I think Dallas, from what I can read, is like Dallas is a little bit deeper. Their line's a little bit deeper. They're able to change out a little bit better. So although Edmonton,
Dallas is very deep.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent. off the bench.
And right now, I think they have the better goalie, who's playing a little bit better. Although game one was bad for them. So overall, I think Dallas is coming, as advertised. Probably the best team, which is tough. It's always weird because you don't want to be the best team, peaking in the regular season. You want to be the hot team. You don't want to be the best team. You want to be the hot team in the playoffs. So I'm hoping for a Dallas win, like I said, selfishly, so I can go to Dallas and throw rats when the Panthers eventually supersede the Rangers. But let's talk about the Panther series a little bit that we've been watching. What is your overall take? How do you feel about coming into this? Because like you said, you thought maybe Carolina, and I've heard Carolina, they've been a perennial tough team. People thought they'd come out the East. But, Panthers, Rangers, how do you feel like the Panthers match up against the Rangers? And how deep do you think the series is going to go?
This is going to go to 7. I mean, to me, these are like two equally matched teams. I thought getting that win on the road game 1 was a statement. I thought it was really great. Panthers have been healthy, which has been super important. They've been able to keep their whole rotation moving and going. Bobrovsky's been playing out of his mind. I feel like every game, this dude has like a highlight reel. Dude's playoff highlight reel is insane. He's been playing insane. And shout out to the Rangers goalkeeper. He was playing really well. I mean, goaltender. I always get it mixed up because I realize it's different.
But soccer, we get it. You're a soccer
goaltender. Goaltender. He was playing really. I mean, specifically in game 2. I mean, both teams had about 30 shots on goal, and for that game to only end 2-1 and go into overtime, pretty crazy. I felt like in that second game, they had a hard time. The Panthers had a hard time creating chances. They would get away on the breakaway and it would all just kind of fizzle out constantly. It felt like they couldn't get clean shots versus when I would watch New York, they were able to get more shots on goal and put more pressure on Bobrovsky. And that first game, though, they couldn't get anything going. Panthers pretty much dominated that game. I thought they pretty much they walked into Madison Square Garden and just took their lunch money. Like, it wasn't even close.
A lot of fans leaving early. A lot of fans leaving early.
a lot of fans.
Trying to catch that subway.
And you gotta catch the LIR. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how this goes. Now you're going back home. I think they're probably going to split on the road again and leave the first 4 games tied 2-2. I really have a hard time picking this one because both teams seem to be playing pretty well. It looks like New York didn't let that first game really get the best of them. So I'm curious to see how this shakes out and plays. As long as there's no injuries, this is going to be a really good. And even if somebody was to get a knock, both teams are very deep, especially in the attack. I think Panthers lack a little bit more depth in defensively. So that worries me, especially because you're going to have to. And what they've been doing pretty much all playoffs is requiring Bobrovsky to really step up in big moments. So, I mean, we'll see how this shakes out because I think every game's going to be a must watch and it's going to be a battle. I mean, it's been scrappy. They've been fighting every 5 minutes in both these games.
I remember seeing that matchup.
And the fan bases.
Yeah. I think it was Forsling. They put this guy out there. This guy had to be a straight enforcer because this guy was out there just to push bodies around. This guy's like 7 foot. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to think of the name. I'm learning to look up the name now. Is it Zibanejad? Is it Zibanejad?
Dude, honestly, man, these names, I'm bad at. They all just are like long.
It's Panarin.
And weird. They're never simple, easy.
Bro, they had this guy. He had to be 7 feet on Forsling, which Forsling is not even a tall guy to begin with. But putting a 7 foot guy is like I don't know, Shaq versus Muggsy Bogues or something. Them standing next to each other when on a power play or on a puck drop is pretty insane. It was pretty funny to look at. I was worried for their health. I was like, God damn, the guy. That's a big body skating around. He wasn't skating fast. He wasn't shooting or nothing. He was just out there pushing people. But yeah, man, I think I tend to agree with you. There's nothing like hockey is so tough, man. Hockey is so tough. It's a fucking full contact sport. These series, I honestly think, like, as far as playoff experiences, playoff hockey is pretty damn exciting. I know the game is already, it's already tough to watch, especially.
I feel like anybody can win, no matter what level you are.
Yeah.
Because it's so much less scoring, so it's more about the big moments. It's getting those, just like in any sport that's a little bit more low scoring like that. You could be the better team all day long, but if you're the ones that are able to finish when it matters, like it's not like that in basketball. Like basketball, generally the better team is going to win because it's just there's so much consistent scoring. It's like, there's not like that. Like in hockey or any sport where you're trying to score a goal, you could be getting your ass beat the entire game, but then you get 2 goals and like boom, you're back in it.
Yeah.
So it makes it just for more exciting, more upsets.
And things like getting to a power plays, penalties. You're really looking at the discipline of a team. Kind of like in football, how like offensive linemen are always doing false starts. It's like, well, damn, is this guy practicing? Like, what is this guy doing jumping off? But you see like the discipline. You see team discipline. You see how how they're able to kill. In the past, man, when the Panthers had a fucking power play, when they were on defense, it was like. This is terrible. It's like
hold your breath.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Your butthole's tight. But they've been more disciplined. I think they're a better team. Like I think you're talking about teams that improve in the playoffs. I think they've definitely improved their roster. They've been relevant and competitive the last maybe 4 years. But the big trade they had this year has definitely improved them. And I know they're looking forward. I think Reinhardt is. Up for renewal, and I think is Forsling up another one. There's like considering it's like 1 or 2 guys that they have to choose between. So yeah, man, it's tough as hell and it's exciting as hell. I think there's nothing like playoff hockey to me. So you think it's going? So how deep do you think it's going? You think Panthers in 6, Panthers in 7, or what do you got?
I'm gonna go Panthers in 6. I think. Panthers been pretty good at home. They've been pretty good at home, and they've been sneaking games away. So I think Panthers win both at home. I think that because I could see New York taking it, and with the way I don't know how if they're gonna do like what they did last year with the Maple Leafs and start like only selling tickets to people in certain zip codes.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be. I already picture it now. There's gonna be so many annoying ass New York Ranger fans in that fucking ice rink. Was it tonight? Yeah, tonight. Yeah. So, oh shit, it's at 3. It's actually in a couple hours. So, man,
I 6 or 7. 6 or 7. Choose a number, God.
I'm gonna go 6. I'm gonna go 6.
Oh wow.
But they split at home. Now and then they win 2 straight. I think they win at New York and then win at home game 6. I think New York's going to take 1.
Barring injuries or anything major or catastrophic, I tend to agree with you. I think Rangers are going to split with the Panthers at home, but I see the Panthers taking away the series 6. Hopefully, it doesn't have to go to 7. I'll take them in 7 if it needs to happen, but give me Panthers in 6.
I will say they win this game tonight. Man, I think it's gonna be
exciting. It's gonna be exciting.
It's gonna be pretty good. And look, man, you get out of this series. I think you're the favorites. You are the favorites to win it. I think. I think this East side is just a stronger matchup. Yes, Dallas is great and they're good and everything, but they've shown to be exposed at times during this playoffs. And I just have the feeling whoever comes out of this is probably going to win it all. And this year, this is the best Panthers team, arguably one of the best ever, especially the best in like the last 20 years. Even better than the President's Trophy run. I think this team is deeper, stronger, and tougher. Even though, they didn't win the President's Trophy this year, they just have so much more depth. They've been playing well. They're consistent. This unit has been together for years now.
Yeah.
So this is it, man. This is it. So yeah, man.
If not now, when? If not now, when?
Precursor, before people challenge our puck knowledge, me and
Very-
Gabe, we're not we're not that strong in it. To
Listen,
be honest with you.
Listen, I was around. I think I told the story last time. I had a friend, Luis Yanis, I played baseball with. At the time, I was in the Little League. His dad owned a bakery. He had season tickets. And I remember I went to the first game, and I didn't know what the hell was going on, but it was exciting as hell. They were throwing rats and shit. It was going crazy, and that's when I fell in love with hockey. I was like, damn, this is fun. And, that was at 95, 96, around that time. So that's where, I'm just around. That's why I'm wearing the old cat. She's beautiful. We didn't need to change the logo. This logo is beautiful as is.
Ferocious.
Yeah.
Ferocious. I feel like our new logo looks like some
It's
sort of.
fine.
Like,
It looks
logo
dignified.
for like a. It looks like something for like a national preserve. It looks like something
Yeah.
you go into the Everglades and it's like on the sign. Like
You know what? To me, it reminds me of. I've been to. Have you ever been to DC? DC has the new MLK statue. It kind of reminds me of that. It's kind of like a serious, very stoic face. Very like. I like the ferocious cat. I like the cat that looks like it's gonna jump up and fucking
I'm a
cut you in the
panther.
throat. Yeah. I like that. I like that panther. This panther is beautiful, just like the Dolphins logo. It was beautiful. You didn't do no changes, no notes, as the kids say.
yeah, not like the same thing with the Dolphins. The Dolphins looks like it's some like nature preserve.
Yeah, I
like
don't like
that logo. Versus before it was like, yo, this Dolphin's got a helmet on. He's ready for fucking action. Like
Yeah. So I just want to wear. I want to go to Dallas and wear my jersey. Wear the old cat in Dallas. But yeah, go ahead.
you think you're gonna get clowned?
I don't know.
Are
Listen,
Dallas Stars fans as obnoxious as Cowboy fans? Like, I don't know.
I've never been. I can't tell you anything about it. I can't tell you. I can't tell you anything about it.
Oh, okay, yeah. We know you're a closeted Dallas man. It's okay.
All right,
All right,
transition.
speaking of NFL, so we had the schedule release that just happened. Gabe, what was your favorite, most memorable one? So because I haven't had the chance to see any of these, so
Oh
I'm
my God,
taking your
see?
recommendation. I'm
is
taking your
terrible.
recommendation. Give me your list, and then we're gonna come back next week, and I'm gonna say Gabe has no idea what
All
he's talking about.
All
These are
right, so
awful.
what?
Give
Okay,
Gabe's watch list.
can do you remember the ones that they had last year that we talked about? Do you
Yes.
remember the ones? What do you remember from
I
last
watched
year?
a lot of them from last year.
Okay, any teams that stick out in mind when you first say schedule release?
Man, you know what they say? They say the brain is not for
All right.
holding
Stop doing
memory.
Drugs. Don't
it's
do
for
drugs,
creating
children.
ideas.
All right. How about the Chargers? You remember the Chargers one? They had like a whole LA thing.
Yes,
It was like a
the
Hollywood
anime,
thing.
yeah.
Anime. All right. Do you remember Tennessee Titans? So they had everybody on Broadway saying
Yes,
the wrong
on the
name.
street. Okay, see,
Okay,
you
see?
need to arrange for having
You don't
ideas.
remember the Jacksonville? What did
Yes,
Jacksonville have?
the script.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that one, but I didn't want to be that guy who's like, oh yeah, I only remember mine. Which it was the case.
So this year's fun. What do you think overall? Like, what is your overall opinion of schedule release? Because it seemed like a big deal. It's like, even though nothing's happening in
I think
NFL,
it's cool.
it's always like a big event kind of day. Schedule
I
release.
think it's cool. I think it brings excitement. Look, if you're the NFL, they've done a masterful job of trying to fill in the offseason because one, you have to. That offseason is so long. And when you look at other sports, like, man, it is that season is so short. I mean, what, 4 months? You have an 8-month layoff. It's a really long layoff. And considering the world we live in with so many things that are trying to take your attention and then all the other sports that are trying to take your attention, NFL still continues to do a great job of trying to fill that hole. And whether it be schedule releases, the hyping up of the draft, the combine, now partnering with the UFL, trying to get that thing more exciting and filled in. I think they're doing what they can to do it, and the schedule release is one of those. And it's awesome that they're doing this. I think it looks good on resumes, man. Look, it's kind of like the new Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah. It is. It's kind of an event. I think it's fun. It's it's a time that can be silly. People can make fun of themselves, or they can represent their town, whatever. All right. So I'm just gonna run through real quick because we didn't get a chance to talk about it. So we'll just talk about it now. Maybe Julian, you'll go out and look at them. All right.
Give me your top 5 watch list.
Top 5, no particular order. Top 5 memorable. I'm gonna just do memorable. I'm not gonna do best with it. I'm gonna just do memorable. Obviously, I'm gonna go Tennessee Titans because they went back. They did it again. They did another like a 2.0 of it.
Street
but
interview.
But this time, they, instead of just random, girls out on their bridal party or whatever the hell, they did like actual. I think they did Titans fans. They did people who actually knew a little bit about football. Like they still fucked up. Like people were still messing up, but they knew people who were like maybe partial Titans fans or Titans fans completely. So I thought that was like a good nod. Like, okay, we're not gonna repeat the same thing we did, but we're gonna give you the same flavor. It's like it's a sequel. We've been looking out for because I don't think they can top what they did last year in 2023. So I thought Titans was very memorable. The LA Chargers did it again. They did they did a Sims thing, and there was there's tons of Easter eggs.
Interesting.
I think the Chargers every year knock it out of the park. I don't know who their social media team is.
Because the anime thing last year was pretty sick. So I'm curious.
It's very, as far as memorable stuff, that they made jokes. They were making fun of Russell Wilson. They were making fun of Butker, the kicker from the Chiefs. Even though that happened the week before, they were able to throw in some Easter eggs on that. They were making fun of the Detroit Lions. They're making fun of the Broncos. They were making fun of everybody. So they did like a Sim. It's like a Sim. So just think of Sims, but inside jokes of Sims. Very memorable. Let's see. The Steelers had. I'm trying to think. The Steelers had one. It was like dad jokes. They did a dad jokes with Debo. With I didn't know his nickname was Debo. Who's the linebacker? Who's the big thick linebacker? Neck. He always has the crazy workouts where he has chains and shit. What's his name? Damn, I can't think of his name now. But they had him essentially sitting down doing dad jokes. Like the players would come and do dad jokes to him, and he would just not laugh. Russell Wilson was in there.
Oh, they kind of you kind of see it on YouTube, but a lot of those things trending where they're trying to say jokes in front of people, and the first one to laugh loses or something like that. You try to get the other. Yeah, I know exactly what they're trying to do there.
Let me see if I can see his name right here because I have the video. It's playing in my ear. James Harrison is the guy that did it.
Oh yeah, James. Okay, I was going to say James Harrison, but I thought you were referring to new a current player, and I'm like, dude, I don't know any current player that's doing
I didn't
that.
know. Did you know his nickname was Debo? I didn't know his nickname was Debo.
I had no idea James Harrison's nickname was Debo. Where does that even come from? But yeah, I know James Harrison. He's hilarious actually. Yeah. He comes off mean, but dude's so
they're
funny.
telling him jokes, and he was just sitting there straight face like, "You guys are dumb. This is stupid." That was pretty memorable. I thought Atlanta did a fun one. They did NFL Street, kind of like a NFL Street thing, but it's kind of memorable. But I was like, is NFL Street coming out with a game or something? It's like, why do they do NFL Street? It's like such a throwback.
EA Big needs to come back, please.
I thought the Detroit Lions did good too because they had what's his name? Tim Robinson and what's the other? Rob Funches? Is it Rob Funches? Who's the Funches comedian? The two guys, the comedians, whatever. They had a fun thing where they were just kind of riffing. They're doing like a kind of improv kind of thing, doing a scheduled release. They had like a machine that wasn't working, and they were just kind of riffing, like improv riffing. I thought it was funny and memorable, especially with the Lions. And let me see what else. One more, if I had to pick. I thought that. Oh, you saw the Jags one, right? Did you see the Jag one? Actually,
I don't think I have, to be honest with you.
Memorable. It was kind of relative, but I didn't like it. So they did like an X-Men, X-Men 97 is it on Amazon?
Yeah.
X-Men 97?
It's on Disney.
Disney. Okay, that's right. It is a Disney product. I forgot. So yeah, they did like a X-Men 97. I just want to bring it up to you. Because I was like, it's kind of relative, but it's like, what does it say about Jacksonville? And the Dolphins one was bad. Dolphins one was bad. It's not
good. I was gonna say
literally
they're the Dolphins every single year.
But it was compared to last year, which was awful. It was like some fake Miami. They hired somebody from Minnesota to do a Miami commercial, and it was awful.
Dude, do you know what the Dolphins need to do? They just need to they need to pay the entire Marlins social media team because what those guys are doing for that team is God's work. Oh, and they just the Dolphins can outpay the Marlins. Let's do it. Get that social media team, get them off that graveyard shift that they have because they're doing a killer job. Dolphins need some help. Bring on that team.
So here's their commercial. I'll just tell you real quick. It was like, here's the Dolphins schedule. Here's the fastest schedule release of all the things. So it had Tyreek Hill sitting there with another guy, I forget who, I think it was a cornerback. I think it was it Ramsey? I forget. And they're like literally like going up in the screen. It's just like the video took like 20 seconds. So it's like all the name of the screen is like, okay, we're done. The fastest schedule in the history of NFL.
That just sounds so lazy.
It's like brought to you by the fastest team in the NFL or something. I was like, oh, all right, that's cute. I was like, I hope you guys are fast. I hope you guys are fast and get open because you're doing this. It's like, okay, you're setting the precedent.
What can we do that takes the least amount of work?
Yeah, it doesn't cost money. We just get one guy in the room. So yeah, I think those were the memorable. I'll say those top 5. Okay, Chargers, Tennessee. I say the Steelers, the Lions, and maybe the Falcons just because it was nostalgia. Even though I was like, wasn't relevant.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't watched it, that's Gabe's watch list.
There you go.
Check it out. But let's stay in the NFL and let's talk about the NFL's plan to remove the chain gang, the chain crew, to actually utilizing technology to determine the spot, not the spot, but the lines, the first 10. Why am I drawing a blank? 10 yards. So we no longer have to. They're going to keep them in some way, shape, or form. They haven't necessarily explained how yet, but they're not going to be really pulled out in like those like important moments, which to me, I'm going to say this now. Oh, let me put a little bit more background knowledge. They're going to be testing it this preseason. So there's a potential that it could be implemented this season, depending on how they feel the technology works in the preseason. If not, they're going to hold off for 2025. My quick thoughts on this is this was much needed, but I still think this is just still one step from getting what they actually need to do. And not only just having the sensors for the line, but they need to do some sort of technology to track the ball, because I am so tired of this game being called the game of inches, but we're relying on people who cannot see that close to where the ball is actually played. How many bad spots happen in this league is insane. And as somebody who watches world football and like soccer and has a show, these technologies exist. Like in world football and soccer, it's called offside tech. You have offside technology and you have goal line technology. You can see exactly when the ball passes that line under the goalpost, so you can get exactly clear idea. And this stuff has been invented for like 10 years. Yeah. Like they first introduced this in 2014 for the 2014 World Cup, and then over the past couple years, they've have offside technology where you can clearly line up and see exactly, like they render out 3D models instantaneously where you can see like where somebody's foot passes like another person's foot. And I'm like, why doesn't the NFL have this? You literally call yourself the game of inches, and we're not utilizing this technology that's been here for like 10 years. So this is long overdue. They need to utilize sensors and all this other stuff and motion tracking and 3D modeling to see exactly where the ball is and if it's past that plane. So I think, look, it's sad to see like no more moved over chains, but still. And maybe when they mean that they're going to keep them, like they keep them there just to like have them there. So that, and also like, so players can see. So when you're on the field, you can have a visual representation of like, all right, where like a quarterback can kind of tell or a player can kind of tell. So I think they're going to keep them in that aspect. But yeah, when it comes to like big time decisions, all right, let's pull out the model. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah. And like you said, I think
not bad.
Yeah. They said it's going to be optics, so I assume this is going to be cameras, right? They have technology now. I don't know. I forget. Is it Next Gen Sports? I don't know how they keep track, because sometimes after plays, you log and you subscribe. These people like Dan Orlovsky, like you can see plays afterwards of like how the routes they run and where the ball is and how the ball's thrown. So I don't know
Next Gen Stats. Yeah.
I don't know how they keep track of that. I'm going to assume it's cameras. But I can see, like you said, they have technology. They have technology for tennis. They have technology for soccer.
Yeah, tennis too. Yeah, I forgot about tennis.
I know basketball is going to be using that technology as well. They're going to be tracking like how many miles somebody runs up and down the court for, obviously for better stat taking or.
Yeah, they've had that for
I know they plan on doing
soccer
that.
for a while
Yeah.
because they do the it's like a almost looks like a sports bra with like a thing on the back, and yeah, you can,
That's what that is.
like,
See, that's what that is. That's what I always wondered. Why are these players wearing that? It's because
yeah, there's like a thing on the back, and it's good for like the coaches to kind of understand like positional
Yeah.
awareness to make sure that they're like in their areas, how much they're ruining their heart rate, like what their hydration
sweating.
level is.
See,
It has like
I heard about that. Yeah. See, that's what I always thought that, and I could see a
it's
future
not just
where
for the player, but it's also for like the coach too to kind of understand and figure out like, all right, he's you know like where they're at positioning. Like, hey, look, man, you're spending too much time over here. I need you over here, you know, or whatever it is. It gives you so much like breakdown, and I've never understood why I feel like NFL has been so. They've done a good job of, like you said, with the next gen stats and stuff like that, but in terms of like player. And maybe they're not doing it with like chips. I don't know what they're doing with the player stats because I do like what they're doing there. But I always felt like in-game technology, like we're still relying on shit that like, while yes, we have 4K 8K cameras or whatever, there's still certain angles and things that make things tricky, no matter how clear you get it. Versus like you can have these sensors, dude. Just put them in the stadiums. We're building billion-dollar stadiums. Why don't they have certain? And I know SoFi has a good amount of things, but we need to utilize a lot of that because it's already there.
Yeah.
Like, especially in these important matchups that mean so much.
And the NBA, I looked it up. The NBA is using it. It's called Hawkeye. So this technology is out there. But I can see a future where, like you said, I always imagine like tracking the ball. Like eventually they're going to put a sensor in the ball. Like maybe put it in the front of the ball, the back of the ball, or maybe just put it in the middle. You can put sensors in the floor. Everybody has, or mostly everybody has turf. I can see them putting sensors on the actual ground inside the turf itself to track how far the ball goes. I can see putting chips maybe in their jerseys. Maybe they're not wearing a sports bra, but maybe they're wearing their jerseys. Maybe put it in the pads, like in the back, the butt pad of somebody. You know what I mean?
I never understood too, like why don't just like how soccer has goal line technology with like the ball cross. Why don't they have that goal line technology for football too? Like literally, like when you cross the goal line, you can see it. Like it'll pull out a 3D model of the ball crossing it. Like there's so much. The NFL brags constantly about how much money they make. They're the most profitable sports league in the world, but like you lack in certain aspects that are already in other games. It's like, come on, dude. Like you get with the times. And anybody who like complains about this, you're ridiculous. Like get real, dude. Like I can guarantee you can count on your hand the amount of times you've been screwed over because of bad reffing calls.
Yeah.
So like people, I don't understand that world of people who are like, I hate technology in the game because I see it every once in a while. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? Like,
bro, they had to
figure shit out so many times.
They have the technology to turn these people into like SpongeBob characters. Did you see the Nickelodeon one where you could actually watch the game? You can watch the game in SpongeBob or Toy Story. Yeah, that's the other one, Toy Story.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, I can see the future where they're actually using this stuff, especially camera. The technology already exists, so it's just going to improve the game, improve the accuracy of the game.
Not only it exists, but it's already being utilized in other like I said, I see it in like the World Cup or like the Champions League. Like you see it being used.
Yeah, so I mean, I think going forward, there's gonna be more additions to this stuff. We'll see. Was that it for the NFL? What else we got?
That's what we got. Let's talk about college, bro. So this isn't just college. I think it gears mostly towards college football, but it's NCAA as a whole. And
we talking about the game, right? NCAA 25, football 25. Is that what we're talking about? Game release? You got it? Did you pre-order?
No, I don't pre-order games anymore. I've been burned too much, and I want to get into that. Maybe if we ever come up with a real gaming fans podcast, I can talk about that. But
that'd be dope.
That is all the info coming out about basically with all these lawsuits and antitrust lawsuits and all these other things coming out about NCAA having to now officially pay players for what they do. And here's kind of some of the highlight points I want to bring to you, and then I'll shoot it over to you to kind of give you your thoughts. But here's what I have. So one thing that they're going to implement is they're going to do a roster cap instead of a scholarship limit. and this applies to all sports. So because teams or colleges before had a scholarship limit that applied to literally all sports. So like some schools would put all their scholarships to football and whatever. And now the roster cap is going to enable player programs to utilize however many they want based on whatever sport they want to utilize it for. Now there's essentially, we call it a $20 million salary cap. And mind you, these are all regarding the Power 5 conferences in the NCAA. So whatever they do on those other conferences, I'm not sure yet. I think it's remained to be seen. I know there's a lot of conferences that are upset that they're getting all this, or players that played for those conferences, other conferences are upset about their conferences not getting it. But essentially a college can spend $20 million throughout paying players and divvy it up however they may through whatever sports they want. Let's be real. Most of these schools, 85% to, I think they said 85 to like 75% of revenue is coming from college football for a lot of these programs. Obviously, some vary. Some might be more basketball schools, baseball schools, whatever it might be. And then so they're going to have to find ways to divvy up the 20 million amongst men's and women's sports.
Yeah, that's what.
And then they're going to have to pay damages. A lot of these schools or the NCAA, I don't know who's paying it exactly. I don't know if it's combined of the schools and the association, but they have a 10-year window to pay $2.7 billion to current and past athletes. That's adding up to about 10,000 athletes that they have to pay for damages over the past $2.7 billion. And then they are anticipating all this and all these new rules to begin within 2025. So obviously there's some more minute other things, but those are kind of the big things I just wanted to highlight for right now. So if you guys in the comments are like, oh, you forgot this and this, let us know. I went through a couple articles, and these are kind of the big things I wanted to put out. And so Gabe, I guess let me know, what do you think about these, and which one do you like the most, I guess?
Yeah, I think I heard about all these stories a little bit, especially the one we got to split between women. I think they were talking about Title IX, how because of fairness, you have to equally split money. Some side notes, just quick Googling, NCAA generated 1.3 billion revenue in 2022, 2023, and again in 2020, 2023, 2024. So that 2.3 whatever billion, I think that
2.7 billion.
Yeah, will be easily recouped. Obviously, how it's divvied up. To me, just based off what you said, again, I'm not digging too deep. I'm just going off of what you said. That seems a bit unfair. If they're gonna have like a salary cap, that seems a bit unfair. You got to mind you, NCAA is like a fake thing. It's like a club that schools choose to be a part of, right? It's this organization that was used to
I kind of have to now, like honestly. It's like a monopoly almost.
Yeah, that's why all these antitrust laws. It's like you can't have a monopoly on college sports, I guess. There is no other competitor there is no other competitive organization like NCAA, right? It's not like
You wouldn't leave NCAA because you're basically screwed. Like, or you just there's no point in having a sports program.
You wouldn't leave because there's no other competitor. Who are you going to go to?
Yeah.
Right? Baseball, I can go to the MLB here, or I can go to a Korean league, or I can go to a Japanese league, or I can go to a Mexican league. There's other leagues.
I'm saying for the college in particular.
College and specifically. So, to me overall, just my overall thoughts is like, it seems like the walls are crumbling around the NCAA as an institution. All these things, talking about a salary cap, like what other organization where if you're going to pay the players, what other, as if they're employees, like what other job has a cap? Like what government is telling, hey, Walmart, you have a cap on the amount of employees you can hire. Walmart, you cannot hire, or whatever. Best Buy, you cannot hire, more than $40 billion of people or something. I don't know. So it seems a little phony fogarty. It seems like something. Maybe these are maybe things that schools are choosing to participate in. But mind you, NCAA is not. It's like a made up thing. It's not like a institution that has to be respected. It's kind of like the NFL. NFL is like a club of owners, and they choose the rules that they want to abide by. So it's like a private club. We enjoy the product of it.
Private billionaire club,
Yeah.
and they get as much as they want.
But when you're talking about schools, right? You're talking about school. You're talking about, government. All your loans are given, and there's regulations by the government on loans. They're subsidized by the government. So I see government regulation stepping in, and I think there's going to be merit to all these antitrust laws. There's going to be monopoly. I see the walls crumbling around the NCAA as it is. Maybe not by next year. Like, oh, it's going to be abolished by next year. But I see like within my lifetime, NCAA may not be around. It may not be a thing. It seems like the players have been empowered. They're taking back the power. We talked about. I don't know if you mentioned. I think there was a swim. Was it a swim team or a lacrosse team? One Ivy League school we're asking for unionization, so they can get benefits like health benefits. To cover injuries and stuff, get health insurance if they get injured. So I think it's a difficult case because if you're talking about college, it's only like 3 or 4 years, right? Or maybe 8 years if you get a doctorate degree or something, right? 6-8 years if you go postgraduate. So I think that it's going to be a tough fight to get 18-year-old to be like, hey, do you want to join a union or you want to be part of this lawsuit to join a union? It's like, well, I'm going to only be here 3-4 years. I'm going to go to the pros. So I don't really give a damn about what's happening in college.
Or once you're done, you're done. Like, even if you're not going to the pros, yeah.
If we're going to treat the players like employees, it's a job that you only have for 3 or 4 years. So I think it's going to be tough to get players to join along because it's just so transient, it's so quick of a time. It's like such a short time. Like how organized it can actually be. But as far as like getting benefits, these schools have been, 1.3 billion NCAA got in revenues for the last 2-3 years. Somebody's getting that money. Are the players getting that money? Are the players getting that benefit? The NCAA makes a lot of rules, but on how they regulate how players are regulated.
Okay.
Like you can't. What's up?
All I've ever heard was that how are these colleges supposed to pay these players? They have so many other expenses. They got to build a laboratory. They have to build a $800 million stadium that seats 80,000 people.
They have to pay the coaches, man. You got to pay Nick Saban. You got to pay Nick Saban.
The colleges are running at a negative. They can't afford to pay somebody. How are they supposed to do this?
Yeah, I think it's all been a sham. They call them student athletes. It's all been a sham. I mean,
it's scholarships that cost them nothing.
Yeah,
it should. Scholarships worth. Throw a number out there. Whatever school you go to, obviously it's different. Let's say $80,000 if you're going to UM. Let's say for 4 years. All right, $80,000 over or let's say let's be even a little higher. $120,000 over 4 years. What is that? $40,000 a year. And let's be real, they're not like that's what they charge, but how much is it really costing them to house these kids and feed them? It doesn't cost that much at all. And it's like the amount of money you're making, it's insane. And not even just the NCAA, but just the colleges as a whole. Like, get the fuck out of here. And it's crazy. It's like, so what if a kid who gets a full ride scholarship because they had good grades, they can't get a job at the university as well? I mean, we all went to college.
No.
I've seen kids who had scholarships and then also work at the library or whatever else or get jobs on campus. Why can't these guys do that?
I don't know what the rules are now, but when I played, because I played college baseball for those who don't know, you could. There's rules like that. You couldn't if you're a college athlete, you're a student athlete, you weren't allowed to have a job. You couldn't work more than 20 hours. I think so. People had like you said, they worked in the library or they tutored or something. You couldn't work more than 21 hours or something. That was the rule then. I don't know what the rules are now. Maybe it changed. Maybe it hasn't. But it has stuff like that. And the same college where. Just because I play baseball, there's a student who doesn't play baseball who can get a full-time job at, whatever Panera,
And also get a full ride.
and yeah, and also get a full ride. But I can't work because I play baseball, and I was a walk on, whatever. But they had rules. Like even though I was a walk on, I still had to follow the NCAA rules of what they had. So yeah, I think it's all a sham. They make all these rules. The players, I feel like I said, they're taking the power back. And I think this is just a crumbling of the NCAA as an organization. I don't know if you
And
saw
dude, the TV money too is fucking insane.
Somebody's getting paid 1.3 billion. Somebody's getting paid. It's not the players. The players don't have health care. The players don't have salary. They put in the hours. I put in hours. I would, I made my schedule. I remember playing in college.
Dude, look at the facilities. Those
yeah.
facilities are better than professional facilities. Those college facilities are some of the best in the world.
I remember setting up my schedule so I can get out at 3:00 so I can go to practice. And we would practice from like 3 to 6, 3 to 7, 4 hours every day, during the week. Even off season, I would be training, running. You can't practice on the field itself where the coaches can't talk to you, but we would have our own practices. In the preseason, in the fall, we would be running and working out and training with the weight, with the trainers. So like you put in hours and you put in time and you have a worth. The schools are making money. Somebody's making money. NCAA is making money. The schools are making money, but somehow the labor is not making money. So I'm glad. I'm glad that this is flipping over and the NCAA is being turned over on its head. To see kind of the sham that it is, like it doesn't make sense. We're talking about adults. Yes, these are young adults. We say kids, but we say kids to mean that they're naive to the world. Maybe they haven't had a job or they haven't had a serious job. They're putting in time. They're trying to, accomplish either they go over there for school. But we know a lot of times, especially the big guys that go professional, this is just like a halfway house just to get to the pros. That, what they really want to do is be in the pros. But, also with that, and something like football, the NFL has an embargo with the NCAA. Like you have to be 21 or whatever. You have to, they don't let 18-year-olds play in the NFL. You can play.
I tell you what, like, I'm with you with the NCAA eventually. I don't think it's ever going to crumble, but I think their power is going to fall in the sense of, because I always thought, and there's a reason why other countries think it's very weird that we do this, and obviously there's reasons behind it, is having people filter through college, I think is just a dumb concept in the first place. Like, if you're not going to go to college and take it seriously and you're just there going all in sport, let somebody just do that. Yeah. Like, we see that in like even in like, I'll give you an example, like college soccer is a sham. Like it's second rate. Like the best players don't go to college. In America, let's say, like if you're a good player, if you go to college to play soccer, like you're wasting your time, because if you're good, you go immediately to the pros, you start making your money, you start doing whatever because you're 17. And I see the NBA slowly getting to that point, and it already is, because look at like guys who are coming from Europe. The reason why there's a multitude of reasons why I think players in Europe are starting to really catch up and like play well and coming over here being best. One of them is they're playing pro ball at 17. Why go through college, make no money, have no pro experience? You can go like we're starting to see it now with the G League. And even players, look at LaMelo Ball going to Europe instead of opting out of going to college. What is the point of going to college? If even in baseball too, like you're starting to see more players go to other countries to play. Like you're going to get more experience. Shohei Ohtani, the best player in the fucking world right now for baseball, or arguably, he just started playing pros immediately. We don't need this, and I think it's starting to understand that. And I think NCAA is going to have a really hard time trying to eventually keep up with that. So that's kind of my reason why I think they're slowly going to. I think they'll always be there because I think college sports is always just going to be a thing. And I wouldn't even be surprised if NFL eventually gets to a point
swallows it.
Well, no.
You think they'll swallow it into it? Oh.
No, but be so. Higher rated prospects are maybe going to go to UFL, then go to college. Potentially. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it depends where the money is because
Yeah,
college
depends
is
on
still
money.
going to rake in more. College football is still going to have a hold. It makes so much money. There's so much culture, tradition. That one's going to be a little harder.
Yeah.
But like specifically basketball, baseball, soccer, or whatever, like those are slowly falling. And it's weird. One thing I will say, so I like the roster cap instead of the scholarship limit. I think like you said, if a school wants to give as many scholarships, they should be able to give how many scholarships they want if they can. I don't think it should matter and have to divvy it up. The 20 million salary, I did hear potentially it could be a floor. I like salary caps work in leagues. I don't think it works in things like this because you have the issue with the Title IX thing,
Well,
which is weird because clearly, let's be real, 90% to 80%, 75 minimum, college football is bringing in the most money.
Yeah. And not all schools have sports. Not all schools have the same sports. Like I can tell you, FSU, they have women's soccer, but they don't have men's soccer. You know what I mean? They don't have the same. They don't. So there's not men.
It gets convoluted, and it's like it gets too weird. And I think maybe a floor makes more sense. So it's like, look, we see you're bringing in this much money to this universe. Like, you should be at least spending this amount, and to make sure everybody's getting paid, and then from there you can go as high as you want.
I don't know.
But like a cap seems too controlling. There's too many athletes. There's too many sports. There's too many. It's just too much to fit that in. It's got to be. I look at it more so you got to do a floor.
Yeah, if I can counter what you're saying about like the money doesn't make sense to me. Like putting a cap, like I said, doesn't make sense. The government or whoever doesn't put a cap on how many people Starbucks can hire. They don't put a cap on any other industry how many people they can hire. But I think a roster cap does make sense because you have to think of the logistics of it, right? And I can see.
No, I'm with the roster cap.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I'm talking about the salary cap.
Because I can see a future, right? Because right, let's say you have a team, you have to put them on a bus, you have to take them on a plane, you have to have so many jerseys, you have to be able to fit them. And I can see a future where if you don't have a roster cap, like a top limit, like maybe Alabama they just steal all the players and they just hold them.
I was going to say that too.
Auburn, you can't have any team because I have a 700-man roster back here, and I'm stealing all the great talent, and we're all paying them as amount of money. So I can see a situation where, okay, yes, how you said, a roster cap, maybe a money cap. I don't know if that works for all schools in all situations, but I can see, why, because it still keeps it competitive. And people can go wherever they want. They can go freely around where they want. So just to counter that, Julian, I just wanted to counter that situation. I don't know if I cut you off.
No, I actually think I don't even think you're really countering me because I agree with you completely. Like, I like the roster cap because one, like you said, yeah, like these schools like Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, whatever, they can't just hoard everybody because the thing with the scholarship limit is like, okay, yeah, you're limiting how many scholarships you can give out. But then you're taking away some from other sports or other schools who might prioritize, like Indiana, they prioritize basketball more. So they're going to want to give more. So I like how, all right, if Indiana wants to have a better football program, they can give out as many scholarships as they want.
Yeah.
But the roster cap is good because, yeah, you can't, even though a kid who maybe not get a scholarship to go to Alabama, but if he gets recruited to go to Alabama, maybe he's like, all right, screw it. I'll take out some loans if that means I can play at Alabama and have the chance to go to the pros because at the end of the day, I take out a $30,000 loan. I'm a starter for Alabama. I'm more than likely going to the NFL. That's going to be nothing. It's worth the investment. So it's like the salary, the scholarship limit doesn't really help. So I think the roster cap is really good. I think it's much needed. Like, dude, you'll see some of these college sidelines. They have like 100 players on there. It's insane. Some of these schools. It's like, look, man, if you're not good enough to be on the team, you ain't good enough. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of surprised that you're with this. You're kind of against the salary cap thing, but I've always.
I can see situations. Like I said, I haven't thought about it deeply, but I can see situations where
it's not gonna work. I just think it does. You can make it work in professional sports here because, like, at the end of the day, yeah, it's like billionaires club. Like they can set whatever rules they want for whatever business.
And schools have to buy in. Schools have to buy into those rules, and the players have to agree to those rules to be a part of.
Yeah, because NCAA is more of like a. I don't want to say it's an open nebulous system because it's not. But it's like a quasi open / closed system in a way, versus like the NFL, you can get away with it because like the NFL, like at the end, we call them owners, but they're franchise owners. They don't actually own the team or the branding. The NFL owns it. Yeah, like you can own a McDonald's, but you don't actually own McDonald's.
All of McDonald's.
You just own a McDonald's franchise.
Well, like I said, it's a private club. It's a private club, and NCAA is a private club. Although, the weird thing is with college is they mix the school, right? What is the purpose of college, right? It's to get an education, get a degree, and hopefully you move on with life, get a job.
With development.
Get training, get education, right? But they're mixing the purpose, the mission of a college, and they're putting sports business in with it. So like I said, I see the separation of the two. It's like now you've abused the players saying, oh, here's your school, here's your scholarship. And you've milked it by blowing up the sports business part and not sharing it with the players, because people go to LSU game, they want to see Justin Jefferson. They don't want to see the Regents board director Greg Doyle. Okay, nobody goes to LSU to see Greg Doyle. They want to see Justin Jefferson catch a damn football. And I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad to see the players get empowered and just being pushed forward, especially by the government entities, because I think, like I said, this whole goddamn is a sham, and I'm going to be here to watch the downfall of the NCAA.
Yeah, I'm with you too, because not even just a sports business aspect, but they also framed it as like a sports development, where it's like if you want to develop in your craft further, you have to go to these schools. Yeah, which it's one thing that I don't like, and I'm glad we're starting to see less and less. The only big hurdle is like, how else are you going to develop when it comes to like American football? But like in terms of other sports, there's starting to be more and more avenues for players to like, I don't need to go to college. Yeah. I don't need to if I want to further. And I'm glad you're starting to see more of that, because like I said, soccer was one of the first ones soccer was always like that. If you go to college, soccer is not like super it's great that you played collegiate soccer, but it's more so college. I think college should be treated the same way high school sports should be treated, in that sense where maybe you're not good enough yet to make the jump to the pros, so you can go play for your school, and then if you perform well enough there, then maybe we come back and reconsider you. But it shouldn't be the solely driving force to have to like pursue. Like there should be more academies and other filter systems to work people through, because there's like combining the two just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, because if you're always these places that you're going to develop, these schools that you're going to develop, they're always going to be hamstrung by whatever their budgetary things are, whatever coaches they get or whatever it might be, versus like if you go to like an actual academy, like this, like IGM, for example, or IMG, like this is like what they do, you know what I mean? And I think it's better for players and future athletes to go to things like that than it would be to go to like Alabama or whatever, or like kind of turn into feeder system, because that's how you make better product too, honestly. Why do you think UFL sometimes is hard to watch? Is because there's just nowhere else for these guys to go. Like, so they don't have enough playing time. Like like you have, like, you can watch, I feel like you can watch like European basketball or college or I don't know, lower level basketball. You can watch minor league baseball and it'd be quality product. Yeah, it's not like the majors, but it's not unwatchable. Like, it's good because they actually have the chance to like actually play. Versus like the one thing with the NFL, and I think they're trying to figure that out, is like, how can we make these lesser leagues still watchable and like still fun to watch? So we'll see. That's a little.
Man, all I say is,
I will say Reggie Bush got his fucking Heisman back.
Finally,
so shout out
it's
to
been
him.
about time. He should never got it taken. He should never fucking lost.
Yeah.
It. And everybody who smoked weed and got in trouble should be rescinded. Their record should be rescinded.
Yeah, it's college, man. It's college.
Everybody does drugs in college.
One final quick topic: college football and EA Sports college football is back. coming back finally after I think the last one was 2014.
Yeah, 11 years. They
NCAA
said. I think 11 years, 13
11
years.
years, man, and we're back.
How do you feel about
You
this?
know what? And I think we're going to see actual player names on it
Yeah.
too.
Get their NIL money. I don't know.
Because-
They're gonna pay like 2 cents for their NIL, but whatever.
Yeah, because there's like what 150 schools or something like that. So
Hey, that's the cost of doing
it's not going to
business.
be like the Madden check because I think I was hearing like Pat McAfee talk about like the Madden check or bring people about the Madden. I think it's like 10 grand,
Yeah.
which to them it's like, you know,
I think I heard.
it's like if somebody gave you $100.
Wasn't
guess.
it the Manning? Wasn't it the Manning in Texas? He rescinded his rights. Like he reserved his rights to not be in the game. So I think if you're gonna get in there, like Archie Manning is not gonna be in the NCAA game. I believe.
Oh,
Let me Google that real quick.
I wonder what his thought process is behind.
He doesn't want that check. He thinks he can sell his name for more, or get more for his name. Let me see.
Well, where else would you sell it? I mean, can't you sell your name like all over the place?
Well, I mean,
Or is
you
there
have
like a limit on?
you have a right to refuse, right? Because they're going to make a game out of NCAA, so you can refuse. You can say yes, I want to be in the game, or no, I don't want to be in the game.
No, yeah, I get that, but I guess I'm curious around the thought process of why he would rescind it. It doesn't seem like a downside, unless it limits him from doing something else. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, maybe he wants to make his own game. Maybe I don't know. I'll look into it more. I have
Manning 25.
Yeah, I have the article, but we can talk about it later. But did you play NCAA a lot? Like I see it in college, people play it, but I was a Madden guy, so I never played college.
I played both. I had both. There was a period when on my Wii, I used to play. God, I think it's got to be 08 or 09 or something like that. I used to love playing that. We always used to play the mascot game. So like basically you swapped out all the players and you just play as the mascots.
Okay,
we used to play the shit out of that. But I always remember thinking it was funny because like it never had the names, but like you knew the play, like you knew it was Tim Tebow, like it was like number 15 Gators or whatever it is. But yeah, I used to play them a lot. I haven't played recent ones in a long time. I don't really play a lot of sports games in general. I don't really buy them. I hate buying them consistently. I think it's a fucking scam. A lot of the times, I play FIFA probably the most, but Madden's hard for me. I love playing Madden locally, like on the me and you
computer
sitting next to each other playing.
Okay.
Yeah, like me and you playing next to each other, but like playing online Madden, and maybe I'm just ass, which I am because I don't play the game that often. Madden in general is a hard game to get into if you're not if you're brand new or if you don't play a lot.
Yeah.
Because everybody on Madden, they've been playing that shit for like fucking 20 years and they're good as fuck and they play online all the time. And due to the nature of the sport and the way the game is played, it's really hard to like as a newbie to like actually play that game because you're just gonna get wrecked. Versus something like 2K or like FIFA and NHL, you can be brand new, hop in there, and after a couple of games, like win a game. Just kind of due to the nature of how those sports play, it just kind of, I guess, it's more tailored to like not getting like stomped. Not that it's not possible, but like I've had friends who played FIFA for like the first time ever. They play with me. We play co-op online, and we can like win a game or like win the next game or whatever it is. Versus like Madden, dude, like. I've put in a decent amount of Madden. Obviously, like not as much compared to like people who play that shit all the time or buy every single one, but like enough to where like if me and you played, I have a good chance of winning, or like I have a 50% chance of winning. I don't know how much you play, Gabe, but like I can hold my own. But when it comes to like online, I'm just gonna get like shit on.
It's tough, man. Because some people play. It depends on some people play for fun. Some people play to compete. I like playing for fun. I just play against the computer. I put on, it gets a little too hard. I put the difficulty down. But overall, I think this game is good. I don't know how good this game is going to actually be. I think it's going to be more of a nostalgia. Like people like the idea of it. I think when it comes down to it, since it's being made by EA, and I don't know if you've seen Madden.
I think there's a lot of people upset at EA, not just at Madden, but like also like the FIFA crowd has been. I mean, FIFA left.
Yeah,
FIFA's been so tired of their shit they left now it's called EA Sports FC.
Yeah.
Instead of FIFA. They literally took the naming rights. So like we're gonna do our own shit, which they are.
Which is fine. They have the right to do that. But
Because
I don't
EA's
know.
been predatory, dude, with
I
the
think
amount of
it's-
microtransactions.
Yeah, that's what people have been complaining about, especially the last 10 years, that how they say it's a new game, they say it's new features, but it literally is just copy paste from the season before. And, it hasn't been good since like
Same
2000,
graphics.
2010, maybe. It hasn't been good. And, it's 2024. So I don't have hype for the game. I was a Madden guy. B, I haven't played Madden in a long time. I'm more a PC guy now. I have a computer here that I play Dave the Diver. I'm a diver guy. But as far as sports game, I'm not really hyped for it. I know people, like I said, we played it in college a lot. We played football.
People love it.
Yeah.
Dude, people love it.
But that was 2000, for me, that's 2008, 2009, man. I mean, I haven't played in so many years, bro, since I've been in college. So.
Yeah. I'm with you too in the sense of like I mean, you guys see the PC. Like I play PC, so like, yes, can I get Madden? I can plug in a controller, still play it, but if I had the newest Xbox, which maybe I'll get eventually, I think I might. I would get it for that and just to play like locally, like whoever comes over will play. I don't see myself ever really hopping on there playing by myself. I just I don't know.
And another complaint
if I have to lean more towards a sports game, I like FIFA a little bit more personally. I think it's just a little bit more fun of like almost like Pong. Like Gabe, I think you would love FIFA because just the nature of the game. It's I've heard people explain it's kind of like playing like Pong or like tennis. You're just kind of going back and forth a lot. So it's like it's really good for people who don't even like the sport.
I remember being in Wynwood. Wynwood, they would have game nights where a guy would bring out like all kinds of systems. And so I remember playing FIFA on PlayStation, and I would just have people walk up and whoop my ass. I was like, man, I haven't, I'm not built for this. I'm not built against, playing against a computer on easy. I can't play against somebody else. It's just too.
Well, I will say, me and you could hop in, like, play together online co-op, and because I play the game and I don't play it like religiously or anything, but like I play it every now and then, and I'm I'm a probably average player. I think me and you hopping in skill based matchmaking, we can get a win after like 5 games.
No. My favorite. I like to play. I don't like to play the side view. I like to play like pick a player. I forget what game I have. I have it on the old PlayStation, my PlayStation 3. Where you pick a player, you can just like you're right there behind the view. So like whether I can play switching, whatever. But I like playing just one player. Like I do all the skills. I'm a forward. I go out there. I play Torres. Who's the guy from Spain? Torres. Play him.
Fernando Torres.
Yeah. There you go, Fernando Torres. I'll play him. But overall, I don't like the gaming industry overall. Like, how do you feel about like physical copies? Like, there's no more physical copies. I think Best Buy said they're not having any physical copies. Everything's digital download. Like you said, microtransactions are fucking people over. They're trying to get kids addicted.
Everything's free to play.
Yeah, but
well, a lot of that stuff's got shut down because of a lot of the laws, not just in the United States, but like EU laws and stuff. So a lot of that stuff is like the loot boxes are. It's a lot more broke. Like big name games, they're not really doing that as much. But FIFA, or not FIFA, EA Sports, I should say. They'll charge like fucking $70 for the same game year in and year out.
And then you want to get a deluxe.
Have all these
you want to get the deluxe is
$120. Because if you want to compete in like Ultimate Team, then you gotta like pay for all the packs and buy like extra and do whatever. So that's another reason why I kind of stopped just playing, because it's just I see the fucking scam like on
every
the
game
wall,
is $80 to buy. I mean, that's crazy.
For the same one, it should just be free to play. If you're gonna have these microtransactions, make it fucking free to play.
And if you're not gonna upgrade or change this, if you're just copy pasting the game, why am I paying $80 for a game that I bought $80 last year? For the game that I bought before that, it was $80. Before that, it's just copy paste the same.
Just to get like
or just update rosters. That's it.
Which you can do anyways. The only thing is you just want to be on top of the newest online community.
Updated rosters, and I think and they shut down the servers when the game is done. They make a new game. They shut down all the servers because you don't actually own the game. You don't actually own the servers. Like they own the servers. They're like we're gonna it's what do they call live play to live? What is that? What's the term?
Live service.
Live service. There you go. It's like this game is you can play it online as long as we say, because we have the servers, and then you're done once we get done with you.
Yeah, I think FIFA in particular. I don't know if EA is gonna do it. But whatever game they end up making next, is supposed to be free to play, but we'll see. I mean, I think at this point, they'll probably make more money just going free to play and just having people do all the mic, because you're just gonna get more player base. It's gonna buy more microtransactions. But I don't know. Maybe there's a reason. They know they're gonna fucking sell it anyways. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious because I would love to play it. I don't know if I'd buy it. I am a Game Pass subscriber, so maybe if they throw it on Game Pass, I'll play it. But if they do, it's probably gonna be a long time before they actually put it on Game Pass. But we'll see. But yeah, I think that's a wrap, man. That was a good episode.
Longest episode. We haven't had a long one like this before, but hopefully we'll keep it shorter next time.
We missed 3 weeks, so it's fine. We got a lot to talk about. But
that's it. We appreciate it. Real Fans FC is our brother podcast. Julian's talking about soccer stuff, football stuff, whatever the hell you want to call it. Listen, be mad. Type in and say, hey, Gabe, we call it football. And football. I call it soccer, okay? This is America, goddammit. I'm in Texas. Okay? Everything's bigger in Texas. Everything's red in Texas. But Julian, when are you record the show, or what have you been talking about lately, or what's coming up in soccer world?
Yeah, so we've been doing I have another episode dropping next tomorrow. We did it a couple days ago. I need to upload it, but so you guys will see that. But basically, we've just been covering all things Copa America. I mean, the United States is hosting the Copa America for the first time since 2016.
Dude, I saw in Austin they're going to be hosting Jamaica versus Colombia. No, Jamaica versus Venezuela in Austin. I saw tickets for that.
You guys are hosting a couple games.
Yeah.
You guys are hosting a couple games. The Dallas games and the Houston games are going to be huge ones because obviously they're going to try to get Mexico to play, and they're getting Mexico to play in those games in Argentina. But yeah, maybe Gabe, you go out to a game in Q2 Stadium. But yeah, we've been doing breaking down each group in each episode. So like we just had our Group A preview. We recorded the Group B preview, and that's going to go up tomorrow. Probably by the time you guys are watching this one, it's already up. So go check it out. And then next week, we're going to be doing Group C to Group D. And then after Group D, we're done. And then we're going to do a full Euros prediction as well, because this is the summer of soccer. We have a lot, like I said, United States hosting the Copa America, very big deal to help prepare for the World Cup in 2026. And then we're also going to be watching the Euros in the mornings, early afternoons. So pretty much the month of July is going to be crazy. There's going to be literally from 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. to like 6 p.m. is the Euros. And then from 8 to the evening is going to be the Copa America. So I hope Gabe gets into it. I know, Gabe, you like international stuff. USA at home or watch. So we're going to be doing live streams, as many live streams as we can, covering all the games. Obviously, depends. I might have a friend coming down to watch his team, Panama. The co-host Will, he might come down and watch Panama because he's Panamanian. So yeah, we're going to be trying to do as much live stream as we can over each game. Gabe, feel free to hop in if you watch in and just want to talk shit and whatever. People will question your ball knowledge.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm not saying I know everything. I just know ball in the hole, goal.
But I think it'd be fun if you hopped in every once in a while for games that are on the weekends and when you can. But yeah, that's about it, man.
Real Fans Podcast, we appreciate it. Again, check out Real Fans FC, our brother podcast. We appreciate everybody checking us out, downloading, subscribing. Thank y'all for checking out this long. Hopefully we'll make it a little shorter next week, but we thank y'all anyways for checking us out this long. Thank you very much.
Peace out, everybody.